Greetings from the Bahamas. I'm here to tell you a story called the Gaulin Bride. But before we start, I'll do the traditional Bahamian opening of a story. Once upon a time was a very merry time. A very merry time was she. It wasn't my time. It wasn't your time. It was old story time. Now, Frank was the handsomest man in the settlement of Lower Bogey, Lutheran. All the girls loved him, but he didn't pay them any mind. He lived with his Grammy because he had grown up without parents and she took care of him. And she was worried that he'd end up all alone. But Frank told her, when I see the one, I will know and I will get married. And Grammy said to him, Frank, you go pick and pick until you pick needle without eye. Frank laughed. Stop talking that foolishness. I'm going to find the one. Don't you worry. One day, Frank, who was a fisherman, went to the pond to look for bonefish. But as he approached the pond, he heard this sound. And as he followed it, he found a big black garland in the bush. Now, I don't know if you know what garlands look like, but they're not so pretty. They have a long neck, big black wings he had, and spindly legs with long toes. Frank picked up the garland and took it to his home, where he put it on the kitchen table. He went to get a box to put the garland in. But when he came back with the box, guess what? No garland in sight. Instead, there was this beautiful dark lady with long dreadlocks down to her hip. She smiled at Frank, and he fell in love instantly. He told his grandma, Granny, I am going to marry this woman. She is the one. Granny was a little hesitant. She said, Frank, it takes time to know her. Love is not an overnight thing. Frank didn't listen. Frank went ahead and married her. Her name was Galinda. And for a time, things went really well. Galinda could cook. I mean, she cooked peas and rice, peas and grits, fried fish, chicken sauce, anything you could imagine. And Frank was even getting a little fatter. But Grammy noticed something that worried her. Galinda never ate anything that she cooked. Now, we can find out what that was all about. But anyway, the other thing that bothered Grammy was that every day around 11 o'clock, Galinda would leave the house and she wouldn't come back till about 4. And she never told anyone where she was going. One day, Grammy followed her, tiptoeing behind her. And what she found out was that Galinda was headed for the same pond where Frank had found the black garland. She hid in a bush and waited. To her surprise, Galinda turned herself around and around. Kiskadee, turn me back to who I should be. And Grammy was about to scream because Galinda's nose became a beak, her shoulders became wings, and her feet became very knobbly and long, and the toes were very, very long. But she kept quiet and waited. About 3:30, Gaulin stepped out of the pond, shook itself off, turned itself around and around. Kiskadee, turn me back to who Frank wants me to be. And she became Galinda again. Well, Grammy couldn't wait. She ran to tell Frank the news. Darn fool, you married a Gaulin. Darn fool. Darn fool, you married a Gaulin. Darn fool. You thought you married a woman, but you married a big black bird. Frank laughed. Grammy, you've been hitting the bottle. You had too much coffee. Or maybe you had some weaving. Oh, I can't believe this. But it did put a little seed of doubt in his mind. So when he went home that evening, he said to Galinda, Honey, you cooked this wonderful peas and grits for me. Come and sit with me and have some. Here, there's a spoonful. And he put it to her mouth, and she tried to eat it, but then she can't. She couldn't make it. And I'll let you in on a secret. The reason why she couldn't eat that peas and grits is because Gaulins don't like human food. Well, Galinda could see the suspicion now in Frank's eyes. And she turned herself around and around and around. Kiskadee, kiskadee, turn me back to who I was meant to be. She became a black Gaulin again and flew through the window. She was never seen in Lower Bogue or anywhere near there again in life. And Frank, poor Frank, he lived alone from then on. You see, it doesn't do to pretend to be what you're not, because you end up hurting yourself and others. People, Ben, my story ends. I'll never tell a lie like that again.